Okay. Hey everyone, it looks like there was a little error in starting off the live stream. So welcome to Ode To Earth. We're going to start off with a quick video about 350 Sacramento.
I think there are some people that think we are troublemakers because we do show up. I think a lot of people are just happy we're there. We've been shown a lot of respect from decision makers, but it's hard to know what they want to say about us behind the scenes. 350 started in 2010 when 350.org, an international organization, called for a global work party. And they just said, do something for the climate. So Martha Turner and I started calling all kinds of organizations, and we eventually had 12 activities on 10-10-10, the Global Work Party Day, and 350 Sacramento came out of that.
This grew out of two people getting together for a cup of coffee in January of 2010. And we discussed how could we do something that was tangible that might help.
When we first started, we weren't feeling the urgency. We thought we had 40 years before the things that are happening now were going to happen. And all we needed to do was educate people about this crisis and everything would be taken care of. And now 10 years later, we're out of time. These wildfires have certainly awakened people. And I just hope that we can do it in time. We demonstrate, we're out in the streets sometimes, and other times we were a member of the Climate Commission, the Mayor's Climate Commission.
Health effects of wildfire.
We show up at hearings, we show up at SMUD, we give talks, we work with young people, we teach young people to be activists, we meet with people who are decision makers. These days we put on lots of Zoom presentations, we bring in speakers, we have movies, we have coffee. We try and raise awareness of the climate crisis and its solutions every chance we get. 350 Sacramento makes me able to look at my grandchildren and feel that I did my best for them, no matter what the future brings. And it's given me a community of people who are the most caring, most passionate, smartest, most delightful people to hang out with. You can look at it as the best of times and the worst of times. This is the time for the human race to get together and solve some problems, and that we're seeing right now in the COVID crisis. We're seeing the inequalities, we're seeing people losing everything, and the problems are there. Climate change is exposing them, COVID is exposing them, but the problems have been there for a long time. This is our opportunity to solve them, to develop jobs that solve this problem. There's so much possibility for things to change right now.
Hello, hello. Thank you so much for tuning in to Ode to Earth number 5. This is the 5th time that we're putting on this show, although this is the first time that we've done it online. My name is Ilonka, and I'm a volunteer and board member at 350 Sacramento. And I hope that today lets you escape to a different place, that you are transported by art and music into a future that we can all believe in. So I'd like to start off by showing you just a couple of pictures from our past Ode to Earths, and welcome you to get ready to open up your heart and your mind and your spirit to absorb the artwork and the dedication of the awesome performers that have shared their talents with us tonight to bring you a special night. So like I mentioned, this is number 5. We have had 4 in the past, and if we could just quickly scroll through those. Yep, this was number 2, number 3, and number 4, and, and here we are at number 5. I want to invite you at this time to settle in, find your best speakers, or hook up your computer to your Bluetooth speakers, or get your nice headset on so that you can really be immersed and experience tonight's show. And of course, all of our work as a nonprofit organization is supported by people like you. We do want to thank our sponsors for our 10-year anniversary celebration. Ode to Earth is a part of our month-long celebration. We've had a few events already, and we have many more coming up. So I do invite you, if you haven't already, to look up everything that we are doing and find some more cool stuff to check out and learn. I want to thank our major sponsors. Our climate rockstar is SMUD, our Sacramento Municipal Utility District, and then also Chrysalis Cosmetics and the Sacramento Metro Air Quality Management District for their support of our organization. We also have additional sponsors that are listed here on the screen. And we do want to invite you tonight to support the work that we have by donating. So at any time, you can go to our website, 350sacramento.org, and donate to our cause. Our goal here, of course, is to fight climate change locally, and we can't continue to do the work that we do without the support of our community. So it really, most of our income is just from people like you who are concerned about climate change and want to support the work here locally. You can also send us PayPal with the email info@350sacramento.org. So with that, get cozy, get ready. Hope you have snacks, a beverage nearby, because we're going to get started. And we're going to get started with one of my friends. Her name is Sawako Ama. She specializes in traditional Japanese drum and dance, and she is also a wonderful belly dancer. She does contemporary and traditional belly dance as well. So tonight we're in for a real treat because she will be performing a Japanese belly dance fusion inspired by Mother Earth. So please put your hands together. And I do want to encourage you to put your reactions in the comments. We are going to keep an eye on the comments, both on YouTube Live and on Facebook. So please express your gratitudes and anything that is inspired by these performers in the chat. So with that, please welcome Sawako. Wow, thank you so much for that beautiful dance, Sawako. That was just wonderful to look at. Up next, we have Nel'Sun. So Nel'Sun is a local urban farmer who is on a mission to build a food system that enhances soil health and biodiversity, conserves water, and is socially just. Nel'Sun is seeking to strengthen the community around this mission. So much of the lyrics of his poetry reflects these values. The following piece, called Reconnection, is about connecting back to the land and our food and each other, and through this process to learn to heal ourselves. So please welcome Nel'Sun.
I would like to good evening, everybody. My name is Nel'Sun Hawkins, founder of We Grow Urban Farm. If anybody would like to get involved with our work, tap in on social media, We Grow Urban Farm. I'd like to thank the organizers of this event for including me in my piece. It's called The Reconnection. I hope y'all like it. Check it out. Bye, old world. Let's bring on the new. There's so many rumors, but only one truth. The time is now to pick the low-hanging fruit and get reconnected to our source of food. Because the future, it's in the hands of the youth and the economic power of a few, with the choice of scarcity or abundance, extinction or sustenance, malnutrition or substance. With permaculture, we're stacking functions with overproduction, overconsumption, causing a slower reduction of nature becoming closer to nothing. That means our children's fate is at stake. Can't be waiting for change, because change can't wait. Once you've consciously observed the landscapes and all the legislative mandates that got human classmates trapped in tax rates in a language that Mother Nature can't translate? Because our connection has been lost with no direction. The future depends upon the actions in the present. And without intent, they can perpetuate the power hierarchy of corporate kingdoms and poor peasants in search for mass destructive weapons, misrepresented on television, a weapon of mass deception. A redirection that's caused us to become so disconnected. Mother Earth has been disrespected. Nature has interdependent complexion that now needs some correction. And with the power of the co-creative collective, we can become reconnected to the source. So if you want to learn a lesson to reach a higher dimension, then of course you got to ask the authority questions like, how many species got to go extinct? How many people got to die? Before we actually think and ask the question, why? Why can't we seek the truth? Why we got to live these lies controlled by oligarchy with the devil in disguise? So open your minds wide as I testify that every problem has a solution, and we can solve them without confusion by evolving some of these new kids involved in a movement as a cause of revolution that can stop the pollution. It's a call to conclusion of all false illusions. But what we need to change is the way that we've been trained. The earth constantly depletes by the way that we behave as our patterns of life are getting steadily deranged. The media is only part of the problem. It's the heart that beats within. So don't let your ego talk. Open your ears and actually listen. We must preserve our biodiversity for life to last. Otherwise, our great successes are just another thing of the past.
Thank you, Nel'Sun. That was great. I could really feel all of those truths. So definitely speaking truth to power there. Thank you so much. Up next, we have two local musicians that have teamed up on this effort, Wesley Sams and Stephen Morkert. Wes and Stephen are both local musicians that live here in Midtown Sacramento. This is a duo version of Wes's song 12 Eggs, which they performed with their band, the Easy Chairs, back in the before times. 12 eggs and 12 butterflies, each one born, each one dies. This song is for life and it is for death. Please welcome Wes and Stephen.
Soft and silver, hidden like the moon. 12 times I jumped too soon. And the mountains of your voice, the echo carries me. My dreams are split in half and open to the sun. Sycamores underneath October sky, each with 1,000 leaves. Everyone will hit the ground, everyone atop the rest, hidden by those silver clouds, they take their winter's rest. out your soul will creep to greet the sun again and give your winter sleep.
Thank you, Wes. Thank you, Stephen. Yeah, for those of you that are in the activist scene in Sacramento, Wes is also an awesome organizer. He's one of the lead organizers of the March for Science. So activists, artists in the house. All right, up next, we have Farah. Farah is gonna share with us a poem. She is a contemporary artist and poet from Sacramento, California. She paints, draws, and writes because the world's a strange place, and she was given hands. Her work is heavily influenced by surrealism, the outrage of the planet, womanhood, the festivity of both Bangladesh and New Orleans, and the very personal violence of it all. Her work is a quiet attempt at honesty. Also, something about survival. Current work includes sculpture, plaster, casting her face, shari fabric work, performance, video, line work, and a whole lot of chrysanthemums. Farah is currently pursuing her Master of Fine Arts in Painting and Drawing in New Orleans, Louisiana. So tuning in from afar, we have Farah. This poem is called The Summer That the Ocean Saved Us. So please give it up for Farah.
I have this person I call my ocean poet. She's a scientist, a shark lover, and a writer. One day she heard a boy on the beach yell, The water is infested with sharks. And she turns in my direction and says they're not infesting it. They live there. You're infesting it. I have a marine biologist friend who taught me what a south swell is. Our bare feet prayed to the ocean the entire summer. At 5 p.m. it was the end of numbers, Excel sheets, and keyboards, the beginning of iPhone typewriters and sweltering surfboards. The ocean saved us. From the monotony of work, from the blistering anxiety of our 20s and the job market, our bodies no longer felt separate from the water. The ocean herself was a life raft. We wondered if there would be girls like us, dedicated to the ocean, coming back to this beach, if they would be able to dig their toes in the sand without the mark of tar staining the soles of their shoes. She loves the ocean more than anyone I know. We lived for the Southern California sunset, the soft pink blossoming out from behind the horizon. Out there, we were race and class and flesh. We were our careers and our childhoods and our traumas. Here, we are incandescent, are fluid and floating, moon and pull. Here we wrap our gravity in algae, speak that saltwater language, make crowns out of sea glass in divine intervention. We were beach bums with college debt, dreamers of scientific discovery, a choir for biodiversity. We knew how she had saved us, teaching us that sometimes you need to get caught in a riptide to learn that if you're not careful, the great big things we take for granted can swallow us whole. She taught me how to look out for the south swells, how after summer the phytoplankton eat all the vitamins, and that's why the water is so clear in the fall. That vision got me through the get-through, that rusting sky, and that skin of silver cobwebs, that fishnet mouth, open so, so wide, praying for mercy.
Did we like that one? If you do like what you're hearing, what you're seeing, drop a comment in the YouTube chat or in the Facebook live stream chat. We do want to hear from you. Up next, we have a young artist called Yeshahyah, Yisrael. He is quite a pillar, even at his young age, in the Sacramento community. And if you haven't seen him yet, I'm so excited for you to see him now. This piece that him and Kare Collective are showing us today speaks about planting seeds and letting them grow amidst the darkness. So please welcome Yeshahyah.
Origami makes some paper, yeah. I've been moving through my city like a Uber driver. I grew up where there was Crips and Bloods and immigrants. I'm a war-torn nation survivor, but got a goal as a reviver. Yeah, yeah, skinny dog skin brother still rocking black hoodies, sipping Arizona's. It's hot out here. It's hot, oh it's hot. I got class at 7:30, gotta hit the gas station to get me some coffee, to give me some energy. It's all I can afford. It ain't good. Fast forward. I'm sitting inside a class, learning about dead presidents. I don't wanna look at them inside this textbook. I wanna look at them inside this wallet. Everybody wants what's inside my wallet. Churches on every corner, nobody's getting saved. There's schools everywhere, but ain't nobody learning shit. Stores everywhere, but ain't no food for our mind, bodies, and souls to frost survive through the seasons, so nothing can grow. Yeah. So what we do? Plant a seed, pour some water, let it grow like. I plant a seed, pour some water, let it grow like. I plant a seed, pour some water, let it grow like. I plant a seed, pour some water, let it grow like. Plant a seed, pour some water, let it grow like.
I plant a seed, pour some water, let it grow like. I plant a seed, pour some water, let it grow like. I plant a seed, pour some water, let it grow like.
Plant a seed, pour some water, let it grow. I said I speak to the spirit, that's the spirit of truth. It lives inside me and it lives inside you. I said, look up to the sky, do you feel that strong vibe? I said it's deep inside your soul and that's where it resides. So embrace it, don't hate it, but let it come alive. I said let it come alive. So feel this energy like Dragon Ball Z. I'm known to kick it like Goku. I gently, I said I'm flying as a plane and my altitude's insane. My brain is on different levels with the power to change pyramids through pebbles. I said my life force is the bass and treble. Like my ancestors before me, kings and queens, they flow inside me. They flow like my ancestors before me, kings and queens, they flow inside me. Yeah, yeah.
I plant a seed, pour some water, let it grow like. I plant a seed, pour some water, let it grow like. I plant a seed, pour some water, let it grow like.
Plant a seed, pour some water, let it grow like.
I plant a seed, pour some water, let it grow like. I plant a seed, pour some water, let it grow like. I plant a seed, pour some water, let it grow like.
Let's plant a seed, pour some water, let it grow. You can catch me planting seeds, and I got what you need. I said we got what you need. You can catch me planting seeds, and we got what you need. I said we got what you need. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Plant a seed, pour some water, let it grow like. Seed, pour some water, let it grow like. Yeah. Plant a seed, pour some water, let it grow like. Plant a seed, pour some water, let it grow like. We're growing to the sunlight. We're growing to the sun's light. Just let it grow.
We're growing to the sunlight. We're growing to the sun's light.
Just let it grow. We're growing to the sunlight. We're growing to the sun's light. Just let it grow.
We're growing to the sunlight. We're growing to the sun's light.
Just let it grow. Let it grow. Just let it grow. Let it grow. Let it grow. Let it grow like. And everybody wants the juice, but the Welch's isn't healthy like. Yeah. And everybody wants the juice, but the Welch's isn't healthy like. Yeah.
Thank you, Yeshahyah and Kare Collective. I love that work. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. Up next, we have the Nboks, Nboks. And Nboks are a collective of musicians and poets. They sing for the voiceless earth creatures. And this song is about a moment in time. Please welcome Nboks.
A minor fractal section of electrospasms spinning the whole singular system down the drain in unison, sampling bleats from whale songs who are oceans away, claiming you as my concubine, an interweb of uniformity, cycles and phases on repeat, bass lines pumping us full of life, heartbeats aligned, we fly free, floating in a multiverse of signals and signs of our manifestations, spelling words into action. Speak, and you shall receive. We can merely perceive the magnitude of what actually exists within our reality. We see but a small percentage of what is presented before us and hear a minute fraction of what is surrounding. At any given time, you may become persuaded by the next. I will see you there. You have a long way to go and a lot of work to do. Americans touch their cell phones every 6 minutes. 53 children between the ages of 9 and 12 have committed suicide since 2008. Social pressure mounting and bullying crashing in from all angles. Pay the fine, do the time. There are folks who can pay their way out of anything. That much has been proven. Cycles, phases, ADHD, autism, America, California. Programming is real. Developing prime example, re-implement, gathering in smaller numbers, allowing recognition and implementation of support system. I'm gonna do what's best. Follow the lunar cycles. 5,125 years. Energy sourced from the Milky Way. We are now experiencing a new dawn. The perfect example is night and day. The sun rises, light grants hope. You have the idea of warmth in your mind. The sun grows higher in the sky. It's true. Midday, it's hot. Starts to go down. Cooler. Darker. Coldest, darkest yet. Right before the dawn. On repeat. Mushrooms, fungus, 5 different ways. It grows through plants, within host, underground, in flowing rivers, decomposition. Eat oil, plastic. We are 1 chromosome away. Breathe in oxygen, out carbon dioxide. A closed cycle. Our kin. We blast through. Be peace. May we stop this rat race. A list of growing concerns. Food. What do you ingest? Is it beyond your means? I mean, intelligibly. Do you read a newspaper, magazines? What do you feed your mind? It's a cycle every time. Social, economic justice. When will I get my fiscal stimulus? Environmental concerns, from poisoning water, source, to hazing wildlife population. Validation therapy is real. Walking backwards through time. Rhythms, ebb and flow splashing at shore. Healthy ecosystems, wild creatures, water protectors. Salmon, buffalo, populations grow. What happens? Proteins, amino acids, do the dirt. A license to farm, pay taxes. One direction. Sun coming up again. Cycles and phases on repeat. Who am I? Tell me I'm lost. Getting to know.
Thank you, Nboks. Did that get your thoughts going? Are your juices flowing? Did you feel maybe like you weren't just sitting on your couch or in your kitchen? Well, up next we have a interactive activity. So don't get too comfy. What we'd like you to do now is to go to the website that's on here. You can just say sift.ly and enter the code Ode to Earth. What we're gonna do is we're gonna write a story together. And this story is called A Message from the Future, The Years of Repair. It's a video that was produced by the Intercept, which I have modified and adapted for us to use today. So please get your phone or a different device and type in sift.ly and enter the code Ode to Earth. And I'll see you there in just one moment. Let me get that up here. Okay. So if we could go to the next slide. I hope that some of you have gone to sift.ly, and I'm going to read this, this story here, and you'll notice that there's some blanks. So that's where you come in. When you see a blank, you'll just fill in the blank with whatever you think should go there. And then we'll see what everybody else thinks too. So it looks like I can't quite see the full screen. Move myself over here. Where did it go? Uh-oh. I think I closed it on my side. One moment, please. Ooh. Oh, wow. We're already seeing some answers coming in. Okay, so I'll start reading the poem or the story. It says, looking back, it's hard to believe that we've rebuilt our community from the ground up with our own hands. The first seeds were planted way back in the terror and tenderness of the pandemic. And then change bloomed in the streets, in the fire and struggle of the uprisings. It started in the first great pause, when the smog cleared and you fill in the rest. When poverty dropped its disguise and racist inequality drew the map of the disease. As the roar of traffic faded, we arose to the birdsong and ambulance sirens. The virus showed us what was truly essential. And we learned again and again that so many of us doing essential work were being treated as sacrificial. From nursing homes to detention facilities, meatpacking plants and fulfillment centers, the virus was exposed the cruelty of these warehouses of efficiency and profit. So let's see what you and how you filled in that gap in our story, which I can do, I think. Okay, we got Moise on it. Very good. So let me see, let me put it in a list view. Okay, so what you said was, when the smog cleared and there was reason for hope once again, and it was golden. and the bird crowed, and lots of yeeting. The dawn of man began. All four-legged creatures came out of hiding. And we could finally go outside, and the sun shone through, and the animals came back to the cities, and people began to realize we rose and flew away. And beautiful. And we all broke bread. Nice. Let's see what it looks like if we look at it as a word cloud. Lots of yeeting. Shall we move to the next chapter? And then things got worse. In 2023, super droughts led to mega floods. Locusts carved a path across continents, and hyper typhoons drove millions from their homes. Supplies ran out again. Meanwhile, dinosaurs roamed the halls of power, bellowing that more sacrifice was needed. But every time they cranked up that rusty old machine called economic growth, what happened? You fill it in. And we couldn't breathe from the asthma in our polluted communities, from the smoke of the wildfires. We couldn't breathe with a knee upon our necks. In the clouds of tear gas, we shouted, "Black Lives Matter." How did we answer that blank? Let's have a look. Every time we cranked up that rusty old machine called economic growth, people were sacrificed. More and more people turned their backs to it. Rivers wept and the sky frowned. The forest shrank. A child lost its dreams. Things got worse. A fairy died. Wizards. I died. We ran out of food. The rich got richer. The poor got poorer. The old oligarchs celebrated. It churned with a yee. And people said, we don't need that system anymore. This is great. The people said, degrowth is more delicious. What does that look like? A word cloud? Let's see. People. That's the biggest commonality. People died. People ran out. Poor dreams. Shall we keep going? And that's how this virus changed everything. We finally understood that we couldn't keep patching up the same broken systems. We had to build something new. What we needed was a spark. And that spark was blank. Fill it in. After months of organizing, the viral rent strike was like a starting gun. Then came the essential worker strike. Delivery drivers, street cleaners, and farm workers got together and said enough. This time, people didn't just clap from their balconies. We flooded into the streets to join together. Economies ground to a halt. This time, blockaded by workers. How did we answer this one? What we needed was a spark, and that spark was people rising up and saying, no. The Bears. Katy Perry's Fireworks. Yeah, that's a good song. Generosity. Bernie brought back, yes, a wind of change, the power of youth rising up, the power of sweet parachute pants, human kindness, Al Gore, Gandalf the Grey, humanity, Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds, people united, the treasury exploding, Do we have any more coming in? Gandalf again. We got some Lord of the Ring fans in here. Shall we see the word cloud? Sorry, I made you. People rising, yes. All right, let's keep going. We joined hands and pushed further, launching the years of repair. The first step was rebuilding the economy around the core of essential work, food and farming, care for young and old, public health, not to mention the essential labor of the more than human world. What is that labor that is non-human? The Full Employment Act made new priorities clear, and there was a wave of new worker cooperatives in everything from mental health support to public art and tree planting. Our information ecology needed tending too, so we built a digital commons, vaccinated against surveillance, and built up our herd immunity to disinformation. Fossil fuels were running on fumes by that point, so we harnessed their final profits to clean up their messes. Whatever we could, we did outdoors, school, theater, celebrating. At first because it was safer, but then because we realized it made us happier. Nobody talked about missing shopping. What did we say? What is the essential labor of the non-human world? A healthy future. We learned its languages. Ooh, I like that. We learned to speak in the language of non-humans. We taught the penguins to tap dance. Somebody loves my makeup. Thank you. My cat and partner are doing good trouble. Photosynthesis. Yes, the basis of everything in the world. Photosynthesis. Knitting sweaters from penguins. Lots of penguins. The insects. Supporting the penguins. We have penguin stands. The Mines of Moria. More Gandalf. I'm pretty sure Gandalf was human. Not sure, actually. Oh, I hope the non-human world isn't replaced by robots. All right, let's see what this looks like in a word cloud. People living in harmony with Mother Earth. That's probably my favorite one. Penguins. Really? Come on. All right. Let's keep going. The right to repair movement meant that a lot of stuff got fixed rather than thrown away and replaced. With life moving at a slower pace, we finally had time to blink. And we began the most important repair of all, repairing relationships. In colonial countries like the US and Canada, Australia and the UK, those were hard conversations. But truth and reparations commissions helped some of us face the truth about the violent conquests of the past and how they shaped our world. That guided where we repaired and how. It turned out that once we fully funded schools and housing and healthcare, we didn't need those bloated budgets for policing, prisons, and war. So what would we have time to do with life moving at a slower pace? Stop and connect with our creator. Leave the Shire. Face systemic issues. Perform interpretive dance. I love that one. Breathe, dance, dream, cry, sleep, hug, forgive, record our dreams, see one another in our Mother Earth. Clear the cobwebs out of our brains. Listen and vibe with Noctivagent. Organize our closets. Find empathy, breathe, just love each other, reconnect with nature, talk to one another. Yes. Yes. Word cloud. breathe, see, dance with one another. Yes. Love it. Let's see what's next. Around here, the Land Back program began the historic process of returning some of the stolen land to Indigenous jurisdiction. In the process, we remembered how taking care of the earth lays the groundwork for taking care of what? Things aren't perfect, of course. Between mutating viruses and our warming world, there's always new storms headed our way. But when they come, we're ready with our networks of nurses and neighbors, our small farms and big forests, our systems of care and repair. No one is sacrificed. Everyone is essential. How did we answer this one? How does taking care of the earth teach us? We remembered how taking care of the earth lays the groundwork for taking care of rainforest and all its creatures, the future. Love it. Us, ourselves, our souls, the penguins again, the earth, one another, humanity, our souls, each other. Children, next generations. Let's see what it looks like as a word cloud. Our boo-birds. Lots of thoughts there. Okay. Well, that was the story. The story, like I said, is based on a animated YouTube video. I had a slide for the credits for that video. So if you do want to see how the real full story goes, you can search on YouTube for Message from the Future Part 2, The Years of Repair. It's a really nice video, narrated by Opal Tometi and others, and written by Avi Lewis and Opal Tometi. So thank you for trying that out for me. I wasn't really sure how that was going to go, so I think it went okay. Thank you for participating. So we're going to take a little break, but before we take a break, I want to tell you that we do need the support of our community to do the work of fighting climate change locally. One of the ways that you can support our organization is by participating in our online auction. The link is here. We've also pasted the link in the chat for YouTube and Facebook. So please go check out our auction. We're just going to show you real quick what that looks like, so you can see that we have, I think, about 30 items, ranging from travel destinations to really beautiful decorations, art that you can wear, and really lovely paintings. We have a couple of gift baskets for Refill Madness, which is our local store where you can get your health and beauty products refilled, so you don't need to waste any plastic. We have a tour of an urban farm. We have some jewelry made out of upcycled paper, beautiful paintings, gem work, and beautiful trees. I actually have one of those trees, wired trees from Jackie's Handmade Creations. I love it. It's beautiful. So take a moment during this intermission to check out our online auction. And a different way that you can support us is by looking at our swag. We have 3 different designs for t-shirts, tote bags, shirts, and everything through our Society 6 link. So if you go here and select all products, you can see the whole range of different things that you can get to support our organization. And if you don't really need anything else in your life, feel free to just go to 350sacramento.org and just donate directly there. If you do support the work that we're doing and are able to donate monthly, you can sign up for a monthly donation. This helps us enormously because it gives us the most certainty about how we're doing financially as an organization. So even if you can do $5 a month, you know, most of our donors do between $5 to $25 a month to donate monthly to us. So please take a moment, find in your heart to donate, get a t-shirt, bid on an item, take 5 minutes, refill your drink, get some snacks, get a potty break, and we'll see you back here in 5 minutes. Welcome back. How was your break? Did you get some more drinks and snacks? I got myself a little wine. I hope that you enjoyed looking at our auction, maybe getting a shirt or a tote or some stickers. All right, let's get started. Where did I put my notes? Whoopsies. Okay, once again, I'd like to thank our donors and I'd like to thank our sponsors. All of the items in our art auction were donated by people who want to support the organization. So thank you, thank you, thank you for your wonderful donations. And we're gonna jump back in with my partner in crime, Mary Sand. She is the co-organizer of Ode to Earth with me. She and I have done this together 4 times now. So the first time she was one of the artists, and ever since then she's been my co-organizer. So today, Mary's, by the way, she has a wonderful business making natural decorations for special events and weddings. So you should definitely check her out at marycontrary.com. And tonight Mary's piece combines our basic needs for food, water, and other natural resources into a physical medium to make music. So please put your hands together for Mary Sand.
Hey, I'm Mary, and this is a musical poetry reading with words from Michael on Water and Air and production by Buddy Hale.
Wow, that was so cool. That was really, really fun, really awesome, magical, beautiful. I love Mary so much. All right. Up next, we have Noctivagent. Noctivagent is a local poet and hip hop artist who is now working on getting an album out by the end of the year. When he's not working on creative projects, he's either working long shifts or getting out into nature. And today he will be sharing with us a poem about the devastation that we have inflicted. Please welcome Noctivagent.
Hi, everybody. Thank you for having me. Thank you for being here. Thank you to 350 Sacramento for hosting and for all the work that they do. And big thank you to all the performers. It's been a terrific lineup, great night. I'd like to really encourage everyone to get out there and help in any way they can. You know, if you can give your time, if you can give your money, if you can give your voice, we all have something we can do. So please get out there and do it. Let's go ahead and get into it with my poem, Mother Earth. And I do actually have a second poem after this one.
So sorry, Noctivagent, it seems like you were muted.
Our story. It's given the rhythm for living within them. Those boundaries we need to be at peace with Mother Nature. She loves us, so why would we degrade her? Debate her value or turn a blind eye to her pain as she cries in a feeble attempt to moisten the soil that's all gone dry. The coral that never got a chance to say goodbye, along with all the species of animals and trees that fell to our pride. Why? So many endangered or died. Why? That's Mother Earth. That's a piece I wrote years ago. And I actually just added to it tonight while I was watching the stream. So thank you to all the artists for the inspiration.
Wow. Hey, Noctivagent, I'm so sorry to interrupt you, but I think we got cut off at the very beginning of your piece. We didn't hear about the first half of it.
Oh, okay.
Did you want to do it again?
If you'd like me to.
Please. Let's start over.
Forest we road grade, destroyed in an enormous rate. Its porous, dim lights fade, annoyed by all the hate. Only love will alter this fate. It's up to us to make this world a better place. This is why we must be the change. We must rearrange priorities, be freed of chains like minorities. Don't need no gains to obtain glory. We know freedom rings to our story. It's given the rhythm for living within them. Those boundaries we need to be at peace with Mother Nature. She loves us, so why would we degrade her? Debate her value or turn a blind eye to her pain as she cries in a feeble attempt to moisten the soil that's all gone dry. The coral that never had a chance to say goodbye, along with all the species of animals and trees that fell to our pride. Why? So many endangered or died. Why? There it is again.
Yes.
Thank you. And this other poem I wrote it when I visited LA for the first time. And I'd gone to see Alaska not too long before, which is where this picture came from. And it's just astounding in Alaska the way that they built around nature rather than tearing down nature. And when I went to LA, I was just inspired to write this piece. It's called What Have We Done? The city glow can be seen for miles. What have we done? Skyscrapers corrupt the clouds. What have we done? Forests turn to asphalt and canals. What have we done? Natural beauty slowly snuffed out. What have we done? Traded bountiful jungles for towns. What have we done? I thought we were all born to be wild. What have we done? What can be done? Is it too late to change fate, or have we just begun? And that's, what have we done? Before I go, thank you. I'll just leave everyone with a final thank you. I'd just like to stress again, please get out, do whatever you can. You can do something. All of us can do something. So please get out and do it. And I will leave you with my poetic blessing. May your life continue to rise like the tides on a full moon. Never forget, your smile has the power to make flowers bloom. Thank you. Have a good night.
Thank you so much, Noctivagent. Sorry that we didn't catch that the first time, but you just rolled with it. So thank you so much. All right. Moving right along. Up next, we have, who do we have? I forgot. Who's up next? Miss Maia Valentine. Miss Maia Valentine has been dancing for as long as she could stand. With a background in ballet, ballroom swing, and blues dancing, she has formed her own unique style, and in more recent years started fire spinning and flow arts, specifically hooping. So the piece that she's sharing with us tonight is a reflection of the cycles of life, which we all share as one world. Movement makes me whole, yet ever loving. When I envision myself the happiest, I envision myself dancing. Everything in the world has a cycle, a pulsing movement of existence. Please welcome Circles of Life by Maia Valentine. Thank you, Maia. I know that dance really put a smile on my face. That was beautiful. Thank you. Up next, we have a person who I deeply admire. Her name is Amy Sigil, and she is just a pillar here in Sacramento. Amy Sigil is a performer, choreographer, and movement instructor. She is dedicated to inclusive movement and group work. And this piece called Dry Land is dedicated to our home. Please welcome Amy Sigil. Thank you, Amy. I've been wanting Amy to do a piece for Ode to Earth for a long time, and this was the first time that she was able to. So I'm very happy. She's powerful. That piece was powerful to me. I don't know if others can connect through movement in the same way, but wow. Okay. This next thing is, we're almost done with our show. We want you to participate though. This is a sing-along that we will be led through by David Jacob. So this is interactive. We want you to sing at home. And even though we're not together, we will be singing together. So you can follow along the words on the screen and let us know how you feel about it. Thank you, David Jacob, for this wonderful sing-along.
1, 2,
1, 2, 3, 4.
This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. This little earth of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little earth of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little earth of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Sunlight from above, I'm gonna let it shine. Sunlight from above, I'm gonna feel it shine. Sunlight from above, I'm gonna feel it shine, feel it shine, feel it shine, feel it shine. Rivers running clear, I'm gonna let it shine. Rivers running clear, I'm gonna let it shine. Rivers running clear, I'm gonna let it shine, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. This little soil of mine, I'm gonna heal it in good time. This little soil of mine, gonna heal it in good time. This little soil of mine, gonna heal it in good time. In good time, in good time, in good time. Neighbors far and near, I'm gonna help them shine. Neighbors far and near, I'm gonna help them shine. Neighbors far and near, I'm gonna help them shine, help them shine, help them shine, help them shine. All around the world, I'm gonna let it shine. All around the world, I'm gonna let it shine. All around the world, I'm gonna let it shine, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine.
Woo! Did you sing along? I did. That was fun. Okay. So we're going to close out with a couple of more interactive exercises for you. And to guide us through that next part is my partner in crime, Mary Sand. Mary, take it away.
Hi, everyone. Just a quick sound check. You can hear me, right? Awesome. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Ode to Earth has been something that's near and dear to our hearts, and we appreciate you guys being here even through this distant time. So as some of you may be aware, we've always tried to do an interactive ending, something that really engages the audience and leaves them with a really strong memory. So without having you in person, we had to get a little creative. So we have two activities prepared tonight. The first one is a drawing activity. The second one is a discussion that's meant to evoke creative thoughts. And you're all welcome to comment during these activities, both during the drawing activity and the discussion. So we highly encourage you guys to send us your thoughts. And as we see them, we'll share them through this video. So the first one is called Shaping the Future. It's a message on climate change. And it's going to be a short video. Before we get started playing the video, I wanted to tell a short story about how this concept was developed. I teach art classes to first through third graders, and I had them try this activity by drawing shapes and turning them into objects, and to try to get them to understand the correlation between form, shape, and objects. And after this exercise, we put our papers together and we saw some interesting patterns between everyone's ways of thinking. So as I do with most things, I thought way into it, and I developed this animation video specifically for Ode to Earth to kind of share the message that I got with the symbolism of these shapes. So before we get started with the video, there's going to be a short pause in the middle of it, which is meant for you all to get out some pen and paper. So if you can all, at this point, gather what you have near to you. It can be a scrap mail and a crayon, whatever you have, because it's going to be a short drawing activity. So yeah, give you a few minutes for that. Even a Snapchat, I see a message. That might work. I don't have Snapchat, so I'm not familiar with it, but anything that you can draw on. And yeah, so I think now we can start the video if everyone's prepared. We have no real way of knowing, but we'll just hope that we're all ready. All right, here we go.
What message can these three shapes tell us about the climate crisis? Well, first see if you can figure it out yourself. Pull out some paper and a pen and draw 3 circles, 3 squares, and 3 triangles. Then give yourself 30 seconds to make them into objects. See what you come up with. Here's a hint. The triangle will probably be the hardest. Oh, and pause this video before we reveal the message. For the circle.
All right, everyone, so this is where you'll be drawing. I don't want to give too much influence into it because this is really an exercise on exploring what are the very first things that come to mind to you with these objects. So hopefully right now you have all of your art supplies out.
We'll give you some time by singing you a little tune.
Ilanka, weren't you going to do the Jeopardy song? All right, finish up your shapes. Some last minute objects created with them. And let's move on.
For the circles, let this shape be a reminder that our values need to shift. You may have chosen faces, flowers, or other objects in nature and our community. We need to redefine our concept of wealth with valuable connections and localize our spending to work towards a circular economy and replace the wasteful linear one we are still mostly dependent on. Spirits are energy intensive, so we need to keep them in check. To be smart is to be minimal. You probably found yourself drawing books, appliances, and other household objects. Squares are rarely a naturally occurring shape. Instead, they show us human progress, intelligence, and industrialization. Let's rid of the excess and see our wealth in the abundance of information we have access to. The triangle is tricky. This is where we will need to get creative. Our presence here depends on just a few things: food, water, community, and shelter. We need to secure these resources and invest in renewable energy. You probably drew some form of shelter, maybe a vegetarian pizza. The triangle is our direction to healing, and repairing the system begins by lifting up the underserved Black and Brown communities. So, if you're ever feeling lost along this journey, let these shapes remind you the direction we're going.
All right. So that was it. Hopefully that you guys were able to get something from this. It was kind of an abstract idea, but getting to animate it really, I think, made it a little bit more comprehensive. And yeah, I think it's also a great symbolic way of thinking to share with children, since they are our future, quite literally. So if anyone feels like sharing their thoughts, please add them in the comments. Yeah, Ilanka, did you want to add anything before we move on to the next exercise?
No, let's move on and see if people want to share on the chat what they drew, and if they were surprised or shocked or anything by the what they drew compared to what we talked about in the video.
Yeah. One of the things I got out of doing this exercise with kids was just an awareness of how similar we all think. And even if you didn't find yourself drawing the same items, or maybe just one or two of the same items, maybe that just shows how creative you are, how different you are from the masses. So this next exercise, it's gonna have some overlapping themes with this previous exercise, and it's also playful. It's meant to explore the same concepts that we are already touching on, but it's called Wordplay for Earth's Sake. And we have two word pairs that we'll be talking about what surfaces when we look at these word pairs. What thoughts do they evoke? And yeah, there's just two of them, so we're going to spend probably around 5 minutes talking on each of them. And again, please comment if anything comes to mind. We want to hear your thoughts. So, all right, the first one is emissions and emotions. So these words are similar. They have a lot of things that tie them together. And when I first think of this, I think that, okay, emissions, they burn energy. So do emotions. They burn energy too. And this can help us realize that this is also very much so a mental journey, as well as one that is tied to repairing the physical world. It's also,
I was going to say, for me, Mary, the emissions and emotions is like internalizing versus externalizing too. Like for emissions, we see that our systems are focused in that, like you said, in a linear fashion, which means that eventually something's going to be emitted, something's going to be tossed, when we know that in nature there is no waste and we can't continue to work in that way. And emotions, when we are witnessing our worlds going in this way, we can blame ourselves, blame our societies, and internalize these feelings, and maybe even feel alone in those feelings, when we know that a lot of us are struggling with these feelings too. And I think a lot of it is about values, right?
Yeah, and I think there can be more of a openness and less of a stigma to talking about these things. There's always been a stigma talking about mental health, and it's a vulnerable position that we are put in when we talk about our emotions, obviously. But specifically when it's tied to something that connects us all as humanity, which is our existence, quite literally. This should be something that we can talk about, like on a pretty colloquial level. So I think just checking in with your friends and family and yourself, practicing self-love is very important, whatever that means to you, however you encourage self-love for yourself. And it's that shifting of values, the same concept that the circular shape touches on, is encouraging and increasing value with your relationship and your community. Yeah.
Oh, I really love what Rod said in the comments. Emissions are a human epoch. Miss something. Emotions are our natural human spirit motions. Our mission is motion to usher in a new epoch of Earth.
Oh, I love it. Yes.
Lovely.
I had the
Thank
same.
you for
I had
sharing.
similar things about just mission and motion in my notes too. Yeah. And I think that the E in front of it is kind of ironic, because since everything is virtual now, it's our E mission. And this is our emotion that we're making virtually. I'm kind of like trying to redefine the terms a little bit, but yeah. I think also like releasing the competitive nature that we all tend to have is part of those shifting in values, because like we really need to work on cooperation and practicing humility as much as we can, because that's all gonna assist this whole motion and movement. Yeah. Any last
Move on to the next?
Anger as emissions on YouTube. Oh, interesting.
Yeah, we have a up arrow to O2 and a down arrow to CO2. we need a shift in the balance of creating emissions. So emissions isn't inherently bad, is what I'm reading into this comment, is that we're not emitting the right things. And I think that brings us back to the concept of that balance, right? A lot of the issues that we have now in this world is because we've lost that balance of between inputs and outputs, and it's all kind of tip-toppled over. So hopefully we can find a new balance. Any last comments from our live streams on this topic before we move to the next topic?
Yeah, I think it's interesting that we all automatically have emissions with a negative connotation and emotions maybe in a neutral connotation, but they both have their ups and downs. There's a proper way to emit, and there's good emotions as well as bad emotions. Yeah, any last thoughts? Well, I'm ready to move on. All right, so this one's tradition and transition. So in order to have transitions, we're gonna need generations to come. I mean, a tradition is inherently, inherited. So securing our presence on this planet is obviously gonna be something that we'll need to continue having the traditions that we get joy and the traditions that add value to our lives. Much of our behavior is inherited through transitions that connect us to our ancestors. And I think that's part of the reason we have such a stubborn quality of giving them up, or being able to think of them in a different light, being able to criticize them. Consumer culture here is, in the country we live in, is probably the main culprit that we need to really get away from. And
Yeah,
it's
so many of our holidays and our traditions are just enveloped in consumerism, right? Like we feel the only way that we can celebrate certain holidays is by purchasing lots of things, even if they are just disposable, even if we don't really think the person we're getting it for is gonna care about it or like it. So for me, this tradition transition evokes, you know, how can we shift back to those values of our ancestors that were more in tune with our limits, right? Not just digging into the excess that we see, especially around holidays and specific traditions, but also those, yeah, exactly, those indigenous traditions that were much more in tune with the seasons and the shifts in the natural world.
yeah. Especially when it comes to giving gifts, I think that that's one of the best ways that we can help encourage and spread this message, because we can not only tell people that we don't want store-bought gifts, we don't want something that, you know, we'd rather have nothing. But I think some of the best gifts are consumables, ones you can eat, but also ones that have ones that are like memorabilia, something that is meaningful to the person that it's being given from can hold so much more value when it's given. And I actually, what comes to mind is the simple object of a ribbon. Like a ribbon, in addition to the act of giving something, is really what gives it value. It's not the amount of money that you spent on it. It's the action. And I don't know, ribbons and flags are something that I'm sort of obsessed and fascinated with, just because of the sheer nature of them just being pieces of fabric. But we've put this like amount of value and depth into them that completely changes their relationship with us.
Yeah, I think we can all think about, you know, a gift that we've received which was so personal and so, you know, made for us. That means so much more than anything that could be bought, right? And
right.
Also these, you know, I think this wordplay for me evokes how can we build our own traditions based on those values of caring, nurturing, and being in balance. Like, can we make our own traditions around Christmas time about what Christmas means to us, or what Easter means, or what New Year's means to us, and in a way that's more in line with the values that we need for the future of being in balance with the natural world and not living in excess.
Yeah, we really need to redefine wealth and abundance, what it means to us. I'm sure so many of us grew up with having a whole mound of presents to tear open, but that's just not what we should be teaching our kids anymore.
Right, like what does success mean to us? What does wealth mean to us? And I'm encouraged by what I see in my generation and in younger generations, that it seems to me like we are more willing to have our success and our wealth measured not by how much money we make or how many things we have, but by how we can impact our community, how we can help each other. And that speaks also to the message from the future, right? Like reprioritizing those things that are truly essential in connection and care for each other, care for the natural world, care for our home. Those are the things that are truly essential. So
yeah, Absolutely. I think holidays should also be more of a time to encourage charity, and it should be we should have a magnified lens on our actions and realize that there's so many people that aren't fortunate enough to be able to really even celebrate holidays the way so many of us do. But we can change that. We can, we can include them. Uplifting mutual aid. Yes, that's a wonderful comment.
Yeah.
After all, we can't rely on the growth of an economy to raise our families.
That's absolutely true. And if we did want to give the gift of art to those special people in our lives, you can go and check out our art auction.
Or hire an artist to make a custom piece specifically with that person, with a whole bunch of like symbolism and meaning. And oh my gosh, I think gifts, they have so much potential. And the way consumer culture has normalized giving gifts is just, it doesn't live up to its potential. I mean, giving is one of the things that makes being human so worth it. Anyway, make art yourself too. Yes, it doesn't have to be, you don't even have to think it's good, because if it's being given to someone, they will love it.
Absolutely.
Love matters more than anything.
Love matters.
Love matters.
Excellent note to close out Ode to Earth 5, our first online Ode to Earth. I hope that it meant something special to all of you who are watching tonight. Thank you. What can we do next? Well, we're just a few weeks away from an election, and you should vote like your life depends on it, because it really does.
Our lives, yes.
Please vote. Please talk to others about voting. Vote early. Do not wait. Just fill out your ballot and go drop it off at a ballot drop-off location. You can also go to 350sacramento.org and sign up for our mailing list. Make a donation, sign up for our mailing list so that you can participate in all of the other events that we have going on. For the rest of the month, we have lots of other things coming up. So here's how you join. You can go to 350sacramento.org, volunteer. You can donate here. You can look at our events. You can look at a full calendar of events. Donate, sign up for our newsletter, and also sign up for a team if you're ready to just dive in and do the work. The way we do work is through teams that focus on different issues. So sign up for a team. Join us for one of our other 10-year anniversary events. Next week, we have our Walk and Roll-a-thon, which is encouraging active transportation. Instead of relying on cars to get around, you can sign up to log your miles and encourage others to fundraise that way too for our organization. So we do have a website for signing up for that called Rally Up, where you can sign up to participate in the Walk and Roll-a-thon and either register yourself for a fee or for free, and encourage others to donate for each mile that you run or walk or roll. We also have Mary DeMacher. She's going to give us a talk. She's a author of a really great book around parenting, and that's on the 24th. We also have the Slow Streets panel, which is going to be on the 21st, talking to local advocates and local leaders about how we can start a slow streets movement here in Sacramento. Make sure you do register for these events on Eventbrite. Each event has a registration link. And that's how you'll find the information on how to join. And after that, we have also Mary DeMocker on the 24th, and we have another panel on the 28th called The Future of Food, where we'll have lots of local experts who will share their expertise around farming, urban farming, lots of cool stuff. Definitely check that out. And then to close out the month, can we have a sustainable Halloween, talking about building new traditions rather than buying plastic crap that we're gonna have to throw away next year? Can we think of more creative ways to celebrate Halloween sustainably? So we do have a contest online called Green the Ween. It's gonna be a judged costume contest. There's different categories. So if you're a DIY person, make your costume, enter the contest, and we have judges which include Mayor Steinberg, who's going to be one of our judges for our Halloween contest. So definitely check that out. Sign up for 350 Sacramento, register for our events, donate, look at the auction. The auction will close tomorrow night at midnight. And we have swag, we have all sorts of stuff going on. So please, please, please find in your heart to support our organization and our work. I personally want to thank you for participating in our event. I want to thank our wonderful performers and our wonderful artists for the lovely presentations that they've given to us tonight. I hope that what you've seen tonight sparks something new inside of you, something that fuels you for this fight, because we who are fighting climate change are not in a sprint. This is a marathon. We need to sustain ourselves with love, caring, art, music, dance, song. We need to feel inspired. So that's what I hope that tonight did for you. Thank you for joining us. Thank you, performers. Thank you, sponsors. Thank you, donors. And to all, a good night. Enjoy. Goodbye.